to my safe Gavin, everybody. Thank you guys once again for joining me for another review here on the Black Gay Comic Geek channel. If this is your first time checking me out, first of all, happy Pride Month, everybody. Got on the shirt, Black, queer, self-care, go to therapy, healing. I can't read backwards. What the hell does that say? I don't know. Resilience,
mental
consciousness,
health.
and mental health. Yeah, take care of your mental health. Thank you, Nadia. With that said, if this is your first time checking out my channel and checking me out, you guys realize just I can't read apparently. But with that said, let me introduce myself. My name is Michael. I call myself the Black Gay Comic Geek. Always say the things that I love to talk about on my channel has blood, sex, gore, and magic, or any variation of the four. So I like to talk superheroes, video games, comic books, action movies, horror movies, sci-fi, fantasy. And of course, I like to talk about Black representation and queer representation. So if that's something that you're interested in, if you think representation matters, if you think representation equals normalization, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, become one of my safe Gavineers on the channel. Let me continue to grow this channel. I'm close to hitting 7,500 on the channel. Let's get to 8,000. Let's get to over, I want to say it's over 9,000. Let's get to 10,000, 11,000, etc., etc. And you can also help with that by not only just subscribing, but hitting the like button. It'll help with this video and to tell the YouTube algorithm this video is worth getting out there, that the channel is worth getting out there, to recommend to other people and all of that stuff. Now all that housekeeping is out of the way. Guys, we have a very special guest here on the channel. We are popping her Black Gay Comic Geek cherry here on the channel. This is somebody that we've been in each other's circles for a long time, but then never really have interacted, but then we spent time together at D23 last year. Both were there. And then we've seen each other every single time since then, which is crazy.
Like every week.
Yeah, damn near every week now. So she's an awesome content creator and social media manager and everything like that. But I'm going to let her introduce herself. So let's bring on to the stage or the screen. The Price is Right. Nadia, Gotham Geek Girl, introduce yourself.
What's up? My name is Nadia Martinez. I am Gotham Geek Girl. I love to cover all things geeky and movies, comic books, video games. Super excited. Got Tribeca this week. But yeah, I'm just here to chat movies and have a good time with my friend Michael and get into it.
With that said, guys, I don't know if you could tell, if you can't see the hat where it says Brooklyn, but if you heard that, as she said, I'm just here to talk about movies with my friend Michael. She's straight up New York, straight up Brooklyn. So you hear that twang, which is apropos. I actually didn't even think about that because this movie takes place in Brooklyn. So you can say it's a coincidence that I had you on for this, even though I wanted to have you on for Spider-Verse for the live, but we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Getting people's schedules together is complicated. But with that said, obviously by the time this video comes out, Transformers, I'm gonna release this on Friday, so it will have just hit theaters. So because it's brand new in theaters and everything, most people hadn't gotten the chance to see it. This will be a non-spoiler review, so don't worry about that. And then maybe towards the end, we'll talk about a little bit of spoilers. I don't have much to say in terms of spoilers, but just a couple small things. I know Nadia has some things that she wants to get off her chest with regards to spoilers. She's here to destroy, as it says in the shirt. So with that said, let's get into it. So Nadia, what do you think about, first of all, before I even ask you about your first initial thoughts regarding this movie, what is your connection to like the Transformers lore? Do you have a connection to the Transformers lore? Did you watch the original Transformers, Robots in Disguise? And then what do you think about the original Michael Bay movies, the Bumblebee movie, and then getting into this movie?
So I, of course, watch the cartoons and like Beast Wars, and I can't say the other stuff without spoilers. But I've always like kind of been a fan, not crazy fan, but love Transformers. But when the first movie came out, I was like, whoa, like Michael Bay, like say what you want, like about maybe 3, 4, and 5, but the first two movies were phenomenal, like phenomenal. And you have to give him like his props for bringing like robots to life, and that CGI like still holds up to this day. Like it was great. The Shia LaBeouf movies, I love the first two. And then the new franchise, I think it was like fantastic, and it was a breath of fresh air. And I think it kind of did things a little differently this time that kind of improved on the franchise in a way. It was like more of a simplified story, a little easier to follow. And like I said, I feel like it like course corrected a lot of things and it like completely reinvigorated the franchise. And it was straight Brooklyn, straight 90s. So I was like, yes, the whole soundtrack. That was like taking me
No,
back.
the soundtrack for this movie was lit,
Phenomenal.
as the kids say.
Because I'm an 80s baby, 90s kid. So every song I was like
Hey,
dancing in my seat.
I was born in 85, so born in the 80s, raised in the 90s. So yeah,
So
but
good.
it was fun. With that said, like me, yeah, I agree. I like the first Transformers movie. I thought the second one was decent. I didn't really like the stereotypical the like racist Transformer that was talking Jamaica or like what was it, jazz? I was like, come on now, like we doing this. So that's the one thing about Transformers 2 that I didn't really care for. But overall, yeah, I did really like the first two Transformers movies. And like you mentioned, my Transformers though were Beast Wars. That's where I came into the Transformers lore. Like I didn't really come around with Optimus Prime and all these other Transformers. Like mine was Optimus Primal. And so when it was announced that, you know, Transformers Rise of the Beast, I was hella excited because that's what I know from Transformers: Cheetor, Rat Trap, Air Razor, what's the the Raptor, Dino Raptor, something like that, the one that was evil and then became good. I can't remember
Yeah.
his name. It's been so long, but that's what I was excited for. But with that said, like, and to throw a reference from Scream, like these new Transformers movies are pretty much a requel. So like they kind of connect to the original movies, but not really. It's like a soft reboot. Because also, if you think about it, like the first Transformer movie, that was their first time arriving onto Earth. But now you look at these movies, they take place in the past, and you got Transformers here. Where were they all this time? So it's really just a reboot. But I think it was a nice breath of fresh air because it was definitely needed. Because I really liked the first Bumblebee. I liked Bumblebee a lot. Like I thought Bumblebee was fun. Yeah, I got used to see that. Yeah, I didn't get one because guys, they don't like me. I got to go on the red carpet, or I didn't get to go on the red. I was invited, but they wouldn't let me on the carpet. But so yeah, I liked the first Bumblebee movie, and I thought it was fun. I thought it was a great reintroduction to the franchise, and also the fact that they didn't get Michael Bay to come back and direct it. I thought it was a good, and not to shit on Michael Bay or anything like that, because I saw Ambulance, what was it, last year? And I really enjoyed the Ambulance movie. So it's not or Bad Boys or anything. So it's not to say I don't enjoy Michael Bay movies, but he was like, in terms of Transformers, I thought he was done. Like he told everything that he needed to tell. So I had fun with Bumblebee, and I thought, I was hoping, you know, I had high hopes for this movie, especially considering it's directed by a black man, Stephen Caple Jr., who did Creed 2. And I really enjoyed what did you see Creed? What did you think of Creed 2?
I liked all the Creeds. I feel like
Yes.
they were all
Saying Creed 3 is
well
my
done.
favorite, but
Oh hell yeah.
now it's like it's my favorite, but the whole Jonathan Majors thing. But we're not gonna get into that. We're not gonna get into that. But like I definitely had high hopes for this movie, because now with Stephen Caple Jr. releasing this movie, he's now one of five black people to direct a movie with over a $100 million budget. Only 5.
Damn.
I know it's sad. So like F. Gary Gray was the first one with one of the Fast and Furious movies. I don't remember which one it was. Then Ryan Coogler with Black Panther, Ava DuVernay with A Wrinkle in Time. Now Stephen Caple Jr. with Transformers, and then Nia DaCosta will be number 5 with the Marvels. So it's sad. Not movies that make over $100 million, but
yeah,
movies that the budget is over $100 million. So because of that, I had, you know, Issa Rae and Root for Everybody Black. I had high hopes, and overall, I thought the movie was fun. I liked it. So
it was definitely like, it felt super authentic. Like I said, I felt like it was like a love letter to Brooklyn. Like even like little moments, things just felt like natural. And like Anthony's actually from Brooklyn. Dominique is actually from Brooklyn. So I love that. Even having the premiere in Kings, it just felt like, I don't know, like sometimes it doesn't feel like a movie really cares about the audience. This felt like, oh, like we're going in, we're going hard. Like even throughout the movie, there were references to like Brooklyn, and everyone's like, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not like, obviously I'm not from Brooklyn, so I don't know that this will be your expertise, but like, yeah, you definitely could tell that they wanted to inject some love into New York, specifically Brooklyn, because like you mentioned, the main 2 characters, the main 2 stars, Anthony Ramos and Dominique Fishback, are from Brooklyn. and that's why they had the premiere in Brooklyn. I'm hoping that they do the same thing for Ninja Turtles, because I'm hoping the premiere is going to be in New York, and I need to be there if it's going to be in New York.
Yeah.
But you could definitely tell this was a love letter to the whole Brooklyn Cup. Like, how did you feel about, like, could you tell if this movie was actually shot in Brooklyn? Or you know how some movies that take place in New York, but it's not really New York, it's Canada or whatever. So did you see any like familiar locations and streets or anything like that? Did it feel like authentically, or could you tell like it was shot somewhere else?
Yes and no. A lot of it was like sorry, one of the other
Oh, you
positives
got.
for me
I
was that
fumble over my words all the time.
one of the positives for me was that they shot on site, because I love when things are shot on site, and they actually shot in Peru. Like, it was beautiful. So there were some scenes that were in New York, and then they created like a fake I think it was like a fake university or something. They had like a couple little things. But
Are you talking about where the big action set piece?
yeah. But I feel like it definitely felt very old school. Like, I do remember like a scene though where they were like in the neighborhood with Toby, the rapper.
Yeah, I think it's Tobin.
Yeah,
Toby.
Tobin.
Yeah.
So some of that like felt like, oh, like it felt, I don't know, natural. But they
And
did shoot in Peru a lot.
speaking of him, shout out to him. This was his acting debut. This was Tobin's like first movie role, and I think he did a pretty good job with the little bit that he was given. Like, I believed his character. Like, it didn't seem forced,
Yeah.
as the kids say. I hate when people say that, but yeah, didn't seem forced. Like, what did you think about him?
They seemed like they had like a natural friendship, and like I feel like that's something, not to say like that other places aren't like that, but in New York, I feel like men are very like combative and like competitive with things. So it's kind of funny, like their I guess like mannerisms with each other. It's like, oh, like you could do this, and like he takes off on him. Like,
Oh yeah, no, the chemistry together was funny, and I would like to see more of him
yeah.
if they continue to do more of these movies with these same characters. Because it seems like, like Bumblebee had Haley Steinfeld, and now this next movie has a whole new other cast. I don't know if they're going to do the same thing with the next movie, what's going to take place with a whole different cast, and we're not going to see these next group of people. But I would like to see Anthony Ramos come back, and that's also a thing that, like, I appreciated the fact that because we got a black director, you got a bunch of more diversity in these movies than you've seen in a lot of the Transformers movies, and not just having black characters or Puerto Rican characters, brown characters in the roles, but having them in the leading roles. Yes, having Dominique Fishback, a black woman, as the co-lead, not just a black woman in the background or a black woman that happens to have role or lines, but no, the movie couldn't have continued without her. Anthony Ramos, a Latino man. I think he's Afro Latino. You know, Puerto Rican man, brown Puerto Rican man. The movie could not continue without him. And they did reference. They had him speaking Spanish and everything. They had his family speaking Spanish. You got to see Puerto Rican culture and everything, and the Brooklyn culture, the quote unquote, even though it wasn't a lot of hood in the movie, but it's still like it's Brooklyn in the 90s. It was a hood. So getting to see that and all of that authenticity, like, that's something that why I always say, like, representation matters, because you get to see things like that. And then even though the characters were black, the characters were Puerto Rican, they were New Yorican, it wasn't like about that. They just happened to be.
Exactly.
And that's something that you don't necessarily see a lot of times. Like, a lot of times, and even though they are important conversations, they are conversations that need to be had, sometimes I don't want to have to talk and be on my soapbox and talk about queer representation and talk about why this matters and where's the black characters. I just want to be the chosen one, and that happens to be black, and it gets to do some crazy, exciting shit. Like, and that's what they did in this movie. Like, there was none of the struggle Olympics, more or less, and racism and the politics of that. There was some of that with like class and socioeconomics and everything like that. But overall, it was a Transformers movie. Like, what did you think? Being Puerto Rican yourself.
I was so happy to see Anthony. I'm happy to see his come up. I think he did a phenomenal job, to be honest. I feel like he had great chemistry with Mirage, Pete Davidson. Like, they were so funny together, and I would love.
And I was surprised. I didn't know it was Pete Davidson until after the movie was over, because I was like, who is Mirage? Because I really enjoy his cat. Like, I thought he did a great job with the voiceover. Yeah, he was my favorite character in the movie.
So funny. So I feel like going forward, maybe Mirage will be like the new Bumblebee and be like the new, I don't know, I guess like they could be the next pair going forward. And another thing that I liked at the end with Tobin, I'm sorry if I'm saying incorrectly, how Anthony Ramos's character introduced him to Mirage. Like he actually showed him. And I feel like, not to knock the other series, because I do love the first Transformers. I still think it's the best Transformers. But what I love what this movie did is they didn't hide them. Because it's kind of like in the other movies, it was just like they just exist. But in this, it was like, oh, like I'm gonna tell my friends about it, because I feel like that's how I would be. I was like, holy shit, I got a robot car. Like, check it out.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like that's a very authentic experience. And it's also why, representation, having diverse voices behind and in front of the camera matters. Because I feel like that's a very Black and person of color experience. Like, even think about things like the Marvels, or why am I drawing a blank on the other Disney Plus shows where like you follow people of color, like, or Blue Beetle, where we saw the trailer, like their family knows. He knows that, like, you can't keep a secret from nosy ass Hispanic, Caribbean. Like, you can't, there's no way you can be a superhero and they not know about it, because your parents, like, I'm a grown ass man, and even to this day my mother will come, because my mother lives right upstairs from me. I got my own apartment, she lives up in the apartment upstairs, and she'll come downstairs and she'll like go through all my stuff, go through like my pills, and be like, what you take, what's this pill for? Like, if I take a multivitamin, she's like, what is this, what is it? I'm like, dang, you nosy. So like, if I was a superhero, she could be like, wait, she would know. And that's something that I appreciate that they do. Like, or we're gonna go tell our friends, you can't keep secrets in the household. If you tell your brother or whatever that you're a superhero, they're gonna tell the mother or whatever. That's something that I love that they did in this
Like
movie.
my grandma would have known before I knew.
Exactly. Exactly. There's no way you got a robot car and they don't know. So I'm glad, like, his little brother found out right away.
Mhm.
And I like that they did that. There were no, like, no secrets amongst the family. So, but one thing that I'll say that I really liked in this movie is finally getting to see the introduction, because I did mention, like, Beast Wars were my Transformers. So finally getting to see Optimus Primal and Cheetor and Air Razor, voiced by the wonderful Michelle Yeoh. So I was excited. Like, how did you feel about seeing the Beast Wars finally?
I think they did a really good job, even like on the CGI and the effects. I thought
Yeah, that's
everything was done well, like very well. And I kind of like how the, I guess like the Beast and like Primal, like they kind of seemed more, I don't know like the word to use, but like not archaic, but like they've been around and they kind of seemed like, you know how like they, I don't want to give spoilers, but like I guess remained hidden. Like they were very like knowledgeable, and I don't know, they kind of just,
I mean, it's not
I
a
think,
secret. This movie takes place on Earth, so obviously
yeah.
the Beast Wars are on Earth. They've been here all this time. Where have they
Yeah, they've
been?
been
Well,
here for like
find
centuries.
out when you watch the movie.
Yeah. But they did a very good job of like making them like different. Like not just how they looked, but how they interacted, how they talked, and even like their voices.
Yeah, no, I love seeing the Beast Wars and getting to see. I wish, the only thing I wish,
Tudor, a little more.
yeah, and this is my biggest criticism regarding the movie, because we're doing a lot of praises and the movie's good. And yeah, like you mentioned, the CGI for all of like, not even just the Beast Wars characters, but for like Optimus, all of the Transformers, I thought was incredible. Like, it looked really good, and it's sad to say, because I always got to do this. The CGI was better in this movie than it was in Quantumania.
Oh,
Like, CGI in Quantumania was garbage.
Marvel
But like,
CGI is
yeah,
calm down.
my biggest criticism regarding this movie is, especially considering that Beast Wars was my introduction to Transformers, I wish we got to see more of them, got to see more of the other characters, got to see Cheetor, Rhinoc, more of Air Razor, more of Optimus Primal, but it was mostly focused on the original Transformers. So I think that's my biggest criticism. Like, you're calling it Rise of the Beast. We should have got more Rising of the Beast without giving a spoiler.
Yeah.
But I don't know. How did you feel? Did you feel the same way, or did you?
I think it was awesome to see them, but I guess their story, like without giving spoilers, their story was more to push forward the Transformers getting home, like Prime achieving his mission, because they didn't even know that they were there.
No, they didn't know they were there, but I still feel like because we've told a whole bunch, like especially like how many times we gonna see Optimus and all, like at a certain point I want to see other characters, especially considering like they're telling these movies, the people that are going to see these movies, they're from our generation. We grew up with Beast Wars, so show me more Beast Wars. Now granted they could end up doing a spinoff and everything like that, but remember in the last Transformers movies they introduced the Dinobots and then we haven't seen them since. So who knows? But yeah, that I would say is my biggest criticism regarding the movie. But overall, I did have fun with the movie. Like, the main draws for me were the connection and chemistry and character development and bromance between Noah and Mirage. Like
Yes.
that was the draw for me regarding those are my two favorite characters, more specifically the character of Mirage. So I had a lot of fun watching it. I will say, because this is the Black Gay Comic Geek channel, I do gotta say, like, to be perfectly honest, I was like, there was a little queer undertones with regard to the relationship between Mirage and Noah. There's a little bit of it, especially some lines and all of
I
that.
think Mirage is just
But that's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. Obviously, it's not literally. I'm not saying it's literally gay. Obviously, he's a fucking car robot. Like where there's no relationship, but I still saw it. What are you about to say?
Damn, I was gonna say like it's not a spoiler, but I was gonna say what I do appreciate is that I guess regarding like romance, that they didn't push Anthony and Dominique's character, and like they didn't push them to be love interests. And I like that because they let them be two standalone characters and they let her be her own thing and her own like shine on her own without being like just a love interest. Because that was kind of, not to say like a problem with the other films, but the other films, like the female just tend to be like a hot girl that was just like product placement to just like be there and like
Megan Fox was just there to be Megan Fox.
So like I do appreciate that in this movie Dominique wasn't just the hot love interest, like that wasn't her story. She had her own story.
Agreed. And not even just with the other Transformers movies, but a lot of movies, like the woman is just there to be the love interest. And I appreciate the fact that she was more than that. She was very capable. She was independent. All the women who independent, throw your she was independent, and she was a person that helped drive the story. She was the one that helped them with, accomplishing the mission that they needed to accomplish. And without her, they would have definitely lost. And so she was more than just a damsel in distress. And she wasn't really, and in the many instances, she wasn't a damsel in distress. She helped, she took out some little small robots, just like Anthony Ramos got to take out some small robots. So I appreciated that. There was one thing also that happened with Anthony Ramos' character at the end, where I was just like, all right, this is stupid. Like I said, I'm not going to say what it is, but how did you feel? I'm pretty sure you know what I'm talking about, but how did you feel about that?
I don't want to spoil.
You don't have to say it, but just like, I thought it was stupid.
Like how far are we going?
Yeah. Like, I was like, what are you doing? Like, I didn't think it made any sense. Then especially because I was like, how is this going to work? Like, if it didn't work the other way, how is this way going to work? I just thought it was a way to get Anthony. I know we're trying to like toe the line, but I still wanted to know what you thought. Like, do it without spoilers.
All right. First, let me get a few more points across, and then at the end we'll do a little kind of spoiler.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
I was gonna say back to like the Autobots and the like. I love how like the fight choreography was done in this one. I think they made the Transformers even smaller. Compared to the original films, because I remember the original films, they were like way bigger. In this, they felt like they made more sense, like turning from a car into something else. It felt like mathematically it made more sense, if that makes sense.
Yeah, the only one that was super huge was still Optimus.
Yeah,
but even then,
even
he felt smaller than the villains.
Yeah. So I like that. It made a little more sense, and like their fight choreography was a little easier to understand in this. Like every fight you could actually kind of understand and see what's happening. Like it was done very well.
Yeah,
And
the camera work is pretty good. Like there wasn't a lot of shaky cam
yeah,
or quick edits where you couldn't see everything that was happening. Like so the cinematography was good, especially with regards to the fight scenes. Yeah.
this one was so much easier to follow.
It
And then
was.
they had like great parallels to like taking care of family and kind of showing. I think they did a much better job in this movie of making you feel for the robots. Like, not to say we didn't connect with like Bumblebee and Optimus in the original films, but this I think made them have a little more natural personality and made you like connect with them. Like, without getting into spoilers, like I definitely think they showed like I said, like taking care of family, taking care of your own, and like I actually like cared about the Autobots in this movie a little more.
Agreed. And I think a big strength of that is including the character of Mirage, because even though a lot of us have grown to love Bumblebee, but Bumblebee can't really, because of his voice box being damaged, he can't really talk. So like a lot of his voice and mannerisms come through like the radio. So it's not really you get personality, but it's not a lot of personality.
Mm-hmm. This
So
had so much personality. Oh my god, Mirage is my
yeah,
favorite.
Mirage had a lot of personality. I love Mirage.
And
Like
then
Bumblebee's definitely gonna have a run for his money.
oh yeah, the other thing I was gonna say, how did this have better cars than Fast X?
I mean, Transformers.
Way better cars than Fast X.
To be
All the
fair,
cars were dope.
to be fair though, Fast X is a prequel to Transformers. Like this is the inevitable point. This is it's gonna get to Transformers at a certain point because they get way more and more fantastical as like Dominic Toretto, his car is a fucking sentient being. I wouldn't be surprised if it turned to a Transformer in Fast
Maybe
13.
we'll get that. And then
So,
this one didn't have obnoxious and blatant product placement.
oh no, there was none of that in this.
There was
Like
none of that.
there was none of
Like,
that in this movie.
none of
Like
that.
especially what was it? The first movie. What would they have in there? I can't remember. Or I even think about the Power Rangers movie where every time you turned around it was Krispy Kreme, Krispy Kreme, Krispy Kreme. Yeah, there was none of that in this movie, and I appreciate that because that takes me out of the movie so much.
BMW, Porsche, Ferrari.
Yeah, but
Can we get into like a little spoiler real quick? Just minor.
Yeah, so guys, if you haven't seen the movie, this is going to be the spoiler section. But with that said, actually, before we do that, really quick, what are your quick thoughts on the movie? Do you recommend people see it?
Oh, hell yes, absolutely 100%. Like I said, I feel like it reinvigorated the franchise. Like I gave up. Like I honestly didn't watch, what was the last one? 5 or 6 or
the last night or whatever.
Yeah, when Shia was gone, I honestly didn't really care. And then this like reinvigorated my love of the franchise. Like I want sequels and sequels galore.
Same.
Like,
I definitely have fun. I would definitely recommend people go see it. And so with that, yeah, now get to the quick spoiler section.
oh yes. Yeah, so I just want to give my cons. Most of my cons are a little on edge of spoiler because they killed innocent people. Like they killed innocent.
They definitely did. They definitely did.
Lots
like
of
Mirage, they're supposed to be the good. They're supposed to be the good guys, and Mirage was killing mad cops. Even though part of me is like, fuck the police, but still, like, you're supposed to be there to protect humanity. Police are humans.
And then my only other complaint, my complaint with Dominique, with her character, is that this girl really figured out all of this like archaeological, like figured out a whole artifact, and she's never left Brooklyn. Like she just figured out all this stuff a little too easily. Yeah. And you're telling me that the Autobots couldn't like figure out where the key was?
Not even just that, but like even like when they got to the end and they got to that little cavern in Peru, and all they had to do was turn the head.
Yeah, nobody figured that out.
So nobody in thousands and thousands of years
turned the little circle around,
tripped over something and accidentally like moved it with their hand and then tried to turn. Like there's no way.
Yeah,
there's no way nobody found this. And it's like, it wasn't even like it was hidden. It was right in the open. So and yeah, that was a little convenient.
In the 90s, the laser thing that she used to find the key, that looked a little too advanced for 94.
Yeah, first of all, I was like, there's no, I was like, what year is this? Because that laser was not 1994 technology. That was like 2050 technology. I was like, but what? I was like, I guess
we still had dial-up.
Yeah, but I'm like, I guess if you're in a world where fucking
Autobots.
giant robots, you got to let it go. But she didn't have access to giant robot technology, so I was
Yeah.
like, I was like, what is that laser that she's using? But that wasn't really a big gripe of mine. My biggest gripe is we didn't get to see enough of the Beast Wars. Like I wanted to see more of Cheetor, Rat Trap. Like there wasn't even a Rat Trap.
Cheetor had like 2 lines, right?
Yeah, Cheetor had 2 lines. Rhinox didn't even speak, barely. And I also don't like that they killed off Air Razor. I feel like they could have did something different, like maybe have her be out of commission or whatever for the next movie, but not kill her off. It's the first time we met her. Like, if anybody, kill off one of the Transformers. We've seen enough of them. Like, if anything, I thought this movie would have been better if they killed off Optimus and had Optimus Primal take over as the new leader. And then we continue on with the Beast Wars, and then maybe Mirage, or give Mirage. Mirage needs to get a spinoff. I want to see.
Yeah, I
Mirage.
just need a Mirage movie.
But speaking of, what do you think about the post-credit scene, the G.I. Joe?
Ooh. I'm excited.
So with that, it makes me wonder if we're going to see more of Anthony Ramos. I've never seen G.I. Joe, so I don't really know much about the G.I. Joe lore mythos. I know they did have the Snake Eyes movie that came out recently, which wasn't that good.
So it's kind of funny. I think it was the first one with Marlon Wayans and Channing Tatum. It was kind of funny, but I loved it. I loved it. The second one was not so good.
I think there was one with The Rock.
Yeah, that one wasn't so good. And then Snake Eyes, I love the actors in it, but I'm gonna go into like a whole rant with the way like America showcases like Asian like martial artists, because one of my favorite actors, I think 2 of my favorite martial artists were in that movie. One of the guys, Andrew Koji, he's from Warrior.
Andrew Koji, yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like they kind of like dumb down martial arts, and I feel like to use those actors in that kind of movie, they should have been like, I don't know, badass, but I feel like they kind of like dumbed them down a little bit. And
that's almost kind of how I felt about Shang-Chi. He's supposed to be the world's the master of Kung Fu, but then they had the movie end on a giant CGI dragon fight where there should have been more martial arts in that movie. Especially like the ending of the movie should have been a fight between him, his sister, and his father instead of a dragon. All right, so what was the last any other points that you said you wanted to get out in terms of like spoilers or final thoughts or anything like that? You said you had a couple more points.
And cons?
It could be cons, pros, or all of it, whatever. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, we already talked about the spin circles. I was kind of annoyed at the festival. Like, it was supposed to be like the hugest event in Peru, yet things happened a little too easily. It should have been like a little more chaotic. And then how is there no news coverage?
It was very quick. And then not only just that, but like they snuck into the parade and then they ran off. Nobody noticed that.
Yeah.
And also the same thing with like again, it's just small nitpicks, but since we're talking spoilers, but the first time that Anthony Ramos broke into the museum, when he ran into the closing gate and he made mad noise and people were like right there. Me and Frankie looked at each other. It was like nobody heard that.
Yeah.
Like, you know which part I'm talking about?
Yeah, in the beginning.
Yeah, in the beginning, I was like, how did nobody hear that?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was small things like that.
Minor gripes.
Yeah, just minor gripes that they just did. That was just like, okay, that was convenient. That was convenient. That was convenient.
One more was that at the end when he came home, like his mom wasn't like, "Where have you been?" Like she just knew he was off saving the world.
Oh yeah, that's true. Like his brother knew, but his mother didn't know.
Like, where was he?
Maybe he made something. He said he got a new job somewhere. I don't know.
But that's just like minor gripes. Overall,
but with that said, overall, I did enjoy the movie. I will say for me though, I think I liked Bumblebee more. But Mirage and the chemistry between Mirage and Noah, I like more than the chemistry between Haley Steinfeld's character and Bumblebee. But I think Bumblebee was just a little bit more fun than this movie. So I think that's why I like Bumblebee more. But with that said, I still really enjoyed this movie. And I don't know if I would like buy it on Blu-ray or anything like that, but I still recommend to go see it in theaters, go see it in IMAX, go see it in 4DX, go see it in 4DX if you have the ability. So with that said, final thoughts regarding Transformers: Rise of the Beast.
Definitely go watch it. Like I said, I feel like it kind of course corrected and made Transformers interesting again and made me more excited to jump back into the franchise. It was more of a simplified story, a little easier to follow, great action. The acting was great, and it was a love letter to Brooklyn. The choreography was awesome, and and the soundtrack was amazing. Like it was
Soundtrack
just
was
a good
great.
time.
Soundtrack was great. I want to
Oh
get.
yeah,
I need to get the soundtrack.
Spider-Verse in terms of music,
See,
but
I think for Transformers, it was the soundtrack that was really bumping. But for Spider-Verse, I think it was the score that was like really incredible. Like
oh yeah,
for the first Into the Spider-Verse, it was the soundtrack that was really good.
that's a
But
good point.
there wasn't really much soundtrack in Across the Spider-Verse. It was mostly the score. And that score, ooh,
Woo!
that score is fucking incredible.
Me and my
Like,
boyfriend were like in the theater, like, I'm downloading this like ASAP. Is it out
yeah,
yet?
same. Like, there's an art book for Across the Spider-Verse, but it's sold out. I need to get that art book. Yeah,
Man,
I need to get that art book, and I want to get this score. But like, and I know I want to go live, and we need to go live eventually
yeah, we
someday
got
to
to.
talk about Spider-Verse. But Spider-Verse, as of right now, is my favorite movie of the year.
Oh hell yeah! I
Yeah.
think. Oh man, John Wick.
Oh, I really love John Wick too,
For me,
but
it's like John Wick, Spider Verse,
yeah, no, John Wick was
and then
like
Flash.
John Wick was like it's yeah. But I think Spider-Verse is my favorite movie of the year. But with that said, I definitely recommend. We're not talking Spider-Verse. I already did a review, a non-spoiler review for that. So check out the other videos on my channel. And if you like what you see, please subscribe for more. Hit that bell notification button. With that said, I definitely recommend checking out Transformers: Rise of the Beast. And also, if you do, check out Transformers: Rise of the Beast or any other movie that comes out this year or this month rather that's at least PG-13 or rated R. You can catch me on the big screen as part of the Newbieverse. Again, it's only playing for movies that are PG-13 and up because I'm talking about Megan, and Megan is a PG-13 movie, so they don't want it to play in front of PG, even though I think that's kind of stupid because we're not showing anything from the movie.
Yeah,
We're just talking about why she's a queer icon. So, especially considering they talk about how, oh, your payment is nationwide exposure across movie theaters across the country. So I didn't get paid for Newbie, but yet they're not playing it in one of the biggest movies that come out this month, which is Spider-Verse. But it is what it is. I can't do anything about it. But catch your boy on the big screen if you go see Transformers. Get there early. See me in Newbie. Tag me on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, whatever. You can see me in Indiana Jones, any movie that's PG-13. But yeah, with that said, definitely check out Transformers: Rise of the Beast. Hit the bell notification button to be on the lookout for when we do go eventually live for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Check out the other videos on my channel. With that said, Nadia, tell the people where they can find you and what you got coming up.
Gotham Geek Girl. You can find me at gothamgeekgirl.com. You can find me on YouTube, Instagram. I am trying the clock, but mostly Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. And I'll be covering Tribeca. I am still trying to get. We got to do the Spider-Verse because I don't have the bandwidth right now to do my written review. I feel like I'm just it's the summer of movies. I'm just happy to be back in theaters like this every week.
Pretty much, like, it's busy. Every week there's a movie.
Oh
And
yeah,
then like July with Barbie and all this other stuff. And then of course,
Oppenheimer.
yeah, Oppenheimer. And then of course, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in August. It's gonna be a busy summer.
Oh yeah.
And I'm reviewing all of it, plus all the stuff I got to come out with for queer content. I'm gonna, and also, if you're in DC and you happen to be at Awesome Con, check me at Awesome Con next weekend. Also, if you're in Brooklyn, check us out at Brooklyn Comic Con this weekend. I'm gonna be doing a panel. Nadia's running the whole goddamn thing, so she's gonna be my boss for the weekend. Yeah. Frankie's doing a panel. I'm going to be on a panel with Frankie. You guys have seen Ron. Ron's doing a panel on Sunday. So come swing by Brooklyn Comic Con. Go to brooklyncomiccon.com. Is that the right email? Is that the right, or is it bkcomiccon.com? You
Follow
promote.
BK Comic Con.
You're the head. You
follow
promote.
BK Comic Con on Instagram, and you can find out all the information on there on the website.
Yeah,
and the after parties.
Get you some tickets. Come say hey. Come take a picture. All that stuff. If you're in the area, whether it's Brooklyn or you're in DC, catch me at Awesome Con. And with that said, we are out. Peace.